Tribe, welcome back. It's me, Mr. Hall again. Author, founder, healer, teacher, guide, mentor, leader, conscious, systems architect, many labels, many titles. Undeniable, unexplainable. Okay? As reality is still catching up to define and encapsulate what I am, what we are. But either way, I'm here to give you another channeled spiritual message, possibly simply for confirmation, as you are your own best guide. But spaces for language and learning are always valuable, right? So you may get some confirmations. This may also be a place for you to receive differently than you have ever before or been consciously aware of. As soon as I begin the video, I begin to channel. And some things that I've channeled earlier today throughout this day would be transmutation, and also this logic versus sense, and we'll get into that a bit. And in addition, some type of success over spiritual warfare and or the recognition of spiritual warfare, psychological warfare, mimetic warfare, and these tools and strategies utilized by corrupted groups and organizations to impact individuals and society as a whole and the globe, universally, globally, terrestrially, many different layers to this. But it appears that there has been some type of cleanse that has taken place within the astrological terminologies. If you're unfamiliar, do some research and or click the link above and book a session with me. It looks like there is essentially a reset going on, and many within society have been mentioning these things in different circles, from art to politics to science to philosophy to medicine, right? Many different avenues. Okay. So I'm also picking up your clairaudience abilities, gifts, perceptions, maybe opening, okay? If you're unfamiliar with clairaudience, it's a form of clear hearing, all right? And it goes a bit deeper than that as well. So that may be a very large confirmation for you, a major confirmation, okay? I'm not a medical professional in this context, but seek out any medical professionals if you do feel that you may need that assistance, all right? Now, depending on where you're picking this up, so you'll notice a change in frequency. So that's another confirmation for you, a change in frequency, okay? Also circling back to confirmation, the numbers 70, 700, 70700 may also be some type of communication that you're receiving. I'm picking up cryptography, so hidden messages. You're picking up on hidden messages and you're tapping into new frequencies of understanding as our vessels are in specific circles, contexts, and understandings. Our vessels are physical antennas for energy and higher dimensional frequencies and energy that flows through the body that are very permeable, okay? So something about the right side of the body, something about your right eye may be taking place as well. That's picking up for me some type of masculine and action-oriented energy. You may be witnessing some type of action that's coming through frequency, and you're becoming more perceptive of this as well. Circling back to those things that I picked up throughout the day while channeling, I'll break it down for us this way. Society is witnessing itself go through a change of perception, okay, a transmutation of perception, similar to, let's say in occult practices or specific spiritual circles. This is a channel that participates in omniism and animism, so everyone is included, everyone is welcome. This is a non-dualistic space or nature, similarly to energies. There's no gender in energies, right? The gender is strictly physical. Aside from those planes of consciousness and awareness and existence, physically is of the flesh. And even that has layers and intricacies as well. But we're seeing society, this is on a global collective scale, we're seeing society go through a perception shift into also a transmutation, right? So this duality is being brought together, and the divine masculine energies and divine feminine energies are being combined into a single vessel. And this can be a process uh, for some individuals that have been indoctrinated or subconsciously programmed or trapped within or boxed within one specific mindset and or way of being. As we're expanding into a multi-dimensional way of being, a more inclusive and more encapsulating, right, a higher observatory perspective of what this human experience is. Okay. Also something about some type of extortion. Okay, some type of extortion taking place. So that may relate more so to, and something about a toe. Clearly, I said that word. So toe, something about footing, grounding. So possibly needing to ground as well, or something going on with someone's feet. So some type of picking up the anatomy and physiology perspectives of blood flow, right? Something about staying in flow, frequency flow, energetic flow. So a flow to the way reality has been performing and working in conjunction with our conscious understanding is going through a transmutation. Okay. This is simply a metamorphosis. A metamorphosis is taking place, and we are all collectively able to witness this. And now, some of us within the collective of society, globally, universally, are also seeing, right? Because witnessing is to view something and not understand it, and be paralyzed by the changes and or unexplainable but undeniable experiences, while seeing is being able to understand, comprehend, and possibly have a comprehensive space to intellectually, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, energetically process these changes and stay in balance with that, right? So balance is being restored, I'm picking up, and balance, the overall understanding of what balance is, this full circle of balance is being redefined, right? So we're going from a 2D, let's say two-dimensional, a three-dimensional perspective into a 4D, 5D dimensional perspective. And yes, so stepping away from conventional logic and stepping into creating sense, right? So logic makes sense. That statement now is going to incorporate many layers of understanding, right? There was only one way or maybe a few ways to understand logic making sense previously, and now we're stepping into a space where logic and sense may be two completely separate understandings blended together, interwoven, right? And that was talked about in some of the previous videos I posted, so check it out. That may have significance for you, have further confirmations for you. And a good way to tell if something is a confirmation is, let's say with intuition and or high pattern recognition and or survival instincts, right? Something will resonate, not because it will make you feel scared or panicked, or you'll have a very strong, uneasy emotion. And even in that, you'll have to use your own discernment, because that can be a specific message for you. But intuition would be more similarly related to a calm, gentle nudging, right? But your discernment is necessary because there are tools that can be used against you to falsify, mask, or transmute energy that is really one thing or the other, right? But we understand now, and collectively we're getting to a place where things are not so much black and white anymore in many aspects, even in logic, science, okay? Empirical data is now becoming theoretical, and they're both similarly merging so fast that a lot of individuals are not able to keep up. And this is where we're seeing many within the society and the globe go through these catastrophic or appearing to be catastrophic experiences, financially, familial, in many different sectors or houses of their dimensional being. But it all is within a divine order, right? And more. Keeping it as simple in what I can share and what what is best to be shared now. Let's put it that way. So those things have been channeled. Okay, and if any of there may be some keywords that you've noticed, there may be some things that you picked up that really resonate with you, and that is going to be a key identifier, okay, of your intuition letting you know, hey, this is a confirmation. Check, 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 thumbs up, right? And something about thumbs and toes, okay? So the primary functions of the body, right? The phalanges, okay? And so something significant about creating, and also, so creating grounding through intellectual processing, okay? Creating grounding through intellectual processing of this newly gathered information. So I'm picking up the energy of, best way to say this for you. This would be, once new information is found, I'm picking up neuroplasticity as well. So once new information is found, being able to adjust the value systems in accordance to this newly found information that is maybe not so new, more so remembered, right? Recalled, is going to adjust these value systems. So value systems taking change, this can be in a fiscal sense, right? This can be in a monetary sense, right? Really practical with digital coinage, and also money in wherever part of the world you are, what is being defined as money, okay? I'm picking up the UN as well, United Nations, something significant about that, those changes taking place there. But all depending on where you are within your spiritual journey. Some people are just starting, waking up, understanding that the reality that we exist within is very much more malleable than we have been ever led to believe. And a lot of what we have been told to and understand as truth fundamentally has been off and based off of falsities or agreed upon truths and engineered facts. We're collectively calling reality, but this is shifting. And this is a good thing, okay? So big emphasis on that, but I do want to get that's definitively a bigger, okay, macro and micro. So on a micro scale, let's say recent discoveries showing organisms that are between living and non-living. And if you do some research, you'll find out more about that. But that on a micro scale to an organism, or let's say atomic level, going up to a macro level, right, to the human and beyond, and even into other species of existence. Something significant about this, so specific gang symbolism as well. So I'm picking up gangs, cults, mafias that are of a darker, toxic, let's say toxic nature and or nefarious nature, okay, are being dismantled or reorganized, okay, because there is no light without the darkness, and there is no, the perception we're stepping away from is this dualistic gorge of feeding on this storyline of good and evil, all right, righteous and non-righteous, and it's stepping into this blended place where there's simply light and dark. Everything has a shadow, right? We all have light, we all have shadows, right? And depending on your specific placements, so the Pacific is also significant, something possibly going on in the ocean. I'm picking up some type of non-human intelligence taking place there that will possibly be released within the very near future in relation to time. If we're looking at it from a linear perspective and understanding, there's much more, and something about understanding collectively and individually the relation to good and evil, light and shadow, and how that relates to worthiness and or the integration and transmutation of the perceptions around that, right? Right. Okay. So I'm picking up full 10, full stop, full tanning, okay? Something about, so tanning may be significant, full stop may be significant in whichever field you are working in or whatever context that would relate to you, as well as Zara. So in the early 2000s, so something about clothing companies, clothing brands, something going on with clothing. I'm picking up possibly illicit substances being transferred through clothing, as well. So be careful of your sensitivities rising as you rise in frequency. Certain foods and chemicals and things of this nature may be impacting you very differently and may not be immediately obvious. Okay. So watch out for skin sensitivity, and or your sensitivity is increasing to the point that you are now able to gather information simply by touch. Okay. And that is another form of spiritual sense as well, touching something. So, and touch does not only need to be physical, it can be through consciousness. Okay. So relaying of a message, a thought, an emotion, right? Empathy, sympathy, those differences, but being able to transfer that, so energy transference, right? So I'll digress a bit. It looks like with this understanding of stepping away from the drama of the good and evil and dark or light, or this constant spiritual warfare, you've stepped out of that collectively. A majority of the collective are now stepping out of that timeline and have jumped into a conscious space of understanding that they don't have to be there, one, and two, that there was a lot of masking going on, a lot of shape-shifting energy, a lot of masking. So for example, an individual may have very nefarious intentions to purposely and have intent for harm upon another, while masking as a light being or higher consciousness individual. So balancing around that and really using discernment now to know any of these karmic energies or any of these frequencies and perspectives that are detrimental to the greatest good for the collective and for yourself, right? Okay. Let me grab some channeling tools. Let's go ahead and get into some divination for us. Okay. So a portal is opened. Okay. A portal has been opened and stabilized. I'm picking up CERN, depending on where you are within the spiritual community and your knowledge base as well. CERN has opened some portal. We are aware of this. If you're not aware of this, do some research on that. But a portal has been opened and it looks like it's now stabilized. So there's been a stabilization of a portal as well. This can be in that literal sense and also a figurative, metaphorical sense as well. Right? So a deep dive is going to be needed to investigate that. So let's investigate that a bit for the collective to try. Something about dance, body movement. Okay, so you may be moving, a physical move, all right, and or moving and getting energy out of your body. Okay, really shaking and cleansing your body. So some type of spiritual protection spells, some type of cleansing spells, some type of transmutation spells. Okay, because everything is interconnected. All right, so take the aspects of my language in the ways that it applies to you. All right, so I'm picking up the Fairy Tarot deck. I haven't used this in years, but something about that, okay? And we'll grab our karma cards and we'll determine which of these books to use today. Okay. All right, so I'm picking up fairy karma. So fairy karma, so some divine justice taking place, some type of, the word I would say this, some form of energetic sovereignty taking place, some type of karma being placed where it belongs and dharma being placed where it belongs elsewhere. If you're unfamiliar with karma and dharma, you may want to do some research on that as well. Oh, okay. So, whoop. As soon as I open the deck, Princess of Winter, inquisitive, truthful, realistic, undiplomatic. Information that can help you, but which may also be difficult to hear. Speaking the truth with kindness, an indigo child or adult. Right, so with this Princess of Winter here, I'm picking up the Queen of Swords, or okay. So shifting and transmuting into the highest version of yourself as well with knowledge and power. So cutting through any bullshit, all right? Interesting. And if we look on this card, we do have this snow leopard here as well. Wow. So what I'm picking up is taking kindness for weakness, and that was a vast, grave mistake for whatever energies had negative intentions for you, or for the collective, or for the processing of this transmutation that has already taken place, right? Mm. Hmm. Eight of Spring. Stress that comes from having many things happening at once, successful multitasking, sudden events or changes, right? So there may have been in the recent past some, okay, feeling out of balance, blocking, okay. So in the recent past, there was some type of energy or vibration. The numbers 14, 12, and 0 are significant. So it seems that in the recent past, there were frequencies or groups or collectives or even a specific group, family, karmic energies, spiritual warfare energy I'm tapping up more on, or tapping up more on, tapping more into. So you've tapped out and up, risen above some type of spiritual warfare or attacks, right? Because something in the recent past was attempting to block your awakening, right? With awakening card here reverse, okay? And then similarly to this yin and yang symbolism, attempting to have you out of balance, right? This balance being upside down, right? Okay. So attempting to have you out of balance, even possibly a sacrifice, as we see. And in specific religions and spiritual circles, this blood is very significant, but the fluid is visceral. So sometimes you may have experienced some, there may have been an intention to have you go through some type of visceral failure, so literal death and or unaliving, right? Some type of something fucked up, something very fucked up was a disgust. Well, we're not here to judge, but and a very grotesque energy, wanting to have you in some place of constantly being stuck in winter, or having very cold energies all around you. Okay, this feels very heavy, but that is the past. Okay, and as time is simultaneously happening all at once, right now is now, and a few moments ago it was the past, and look, we're already heading in the future. So it looks like wanting to keep you stuck in this cycle of that experience of winter, of that experience of drought, of that experience of being attached to and stuck to those cold emotions, feelings, right? Because winter was not emotional. It's a very air type communication style. Okay? So very cutting, right? An eight of winter. You have what it takes if you only believe in yourself. Thinking that you're powerless when you're not. A lack of self-confidence that keeps you from getting what you want. Right. So being in this place, this energy. Okay. So some of you in the collective may be feeling this energy, or and or tribe collectively, because most of us here are the healers and the light workers and all these spiritual things that are outside of this energy. But for some, the message is to let others know as well that they have what it takes to have and achieve whatever it is that they dream of, right? Picking up future dreams, right? Having space to have these future dreams and having the space to achieve and accomplish outside of any perceived or and unconscious projections. Let's see. Something was sticking out. What card was that? I don't want to. Okay. So yeah, really taking your time to using your discernment to determine what is really going to be good for you. Yeah, 10 of winter, the resolution of difficulties in the near future. All right, the resolution of difficulties, a weight lifted off your shoulders, the end of an addiction or codependency. Right. This energy of So the current energy is there may be some issues around self-confidence and or trusting in your sight, your gifts, your vision, and your job, your only job, let's put it that way, is to trust in your inner vision. I'm not telling you to go quit your job, but and for specific groups within the collective and specific circles of spirituality, that is the move and the progress forward. Okay, that is the action step to take. Okay, something about naked too. So authenticity. So authentically taking this next step despite the conventional logic projected to you telling you otherwise, because this is the next step. This is the progression forward for a majority of the collective and tribe. Most of humanity will be making this change, and we are seeing this. So a lot about communication, a lot about psychic interference, a lot about really cutting through any type of bullshit, like with passion. Okay, the desire for a more meaningful life, realizing that it's time to move on, choosing to make major life changes, literally, in short. this change, stepping into that forest, following the sun, right? I'm not going to say stepping into the light. I'm also picking up soul trap energy. So something just globally, this energy of attempting to keep you trapped. And this can break down for the major collective and individually you, if you consider yourself a chosen one or relate to any of those titles or frequencies or vibrations of having societies, communities, groups, and peoples being against you. Okay. Yeah, something's heating up. Something's definitely heating up. Something's definitely heating up. So coming to a head, about to erupt. I'm picking up, but the desire for a more meaningful life, the resolution of difficulty. So these weights have lifted off. Okay. So for the groups or individuals that may have been causing some type of impact towards your creative beliefs, towards your creation of yourself, towards you building your dreams, your vision, that energy is being blasted off of you, okay? And also, you've stepped into and overcome these difficulties with the 10 of winter here, okay? So some type of completion into a new beginning taking place. So 8-8. So there was something possibly that took place on the 8-8 portal where you, on one end, you have winter and then you have summer, right? Being in this hot and cold energy, and you finally decided to step into, even in winter, right? Transmuting the energy, right? Using the winter and the cool breeze to then cool down with this hot energy I'm feeling, cool down and move forward, right? You've moved forward into understanding that summer is right around the corner, right? The end of winter. Because if we look in this image as well with this fairy energy here, so I'm picking up the Deva realm. That's very significant. That did come up in the timeline recently. And kudos to the reader that was mentioning this, but the Deva realm, right? So stepping between realms, okay? Getting out of this proverbial winter that was being forced upon you, okay, and or that you co-created yourself, stepping out of that and now getting into this 8 of summer, this abundant summer, the desire for meaningful life, right? Really moving on, I'm picking up. Very interesting, and really getting in touch with the earth and nature and your true nature, okay? And I'll get some clarifying cards. Interesting. The fairy card has not come up in a while. Yeah, the world. We got the world and renewal in reverse. Yeah, so there's no renewal to a contract, some type of contract that was taking place, some type of ideal, right? Reviewing the past and present so you can plan a bright new future. You already know what to do. You're releasing judgments of yourself and others. You already know what to do. You already know how to move on. You already know what your next step is. You may have gotten this intuitively in a dream, right? And this light is being casted on any of these trickster type spirits that I'm seeing in the card. Okay, you're moving on past any perceived blocks. You're moving on past any perceived winter episodes, or you're not replaying the drama. You're not getting stuck in that drama of the good, evil, the bad, the right, the wrong choice. You're moving forward, and energetically, even if you decided not to, you would be moving forward anyway. That's what I'm picking up, because you have the world card here. Look at that bright little fairy. She was a fairy. Well, many layers to that, as fairies do represent police as well in specific circles. So there could be something about that as well. Corruption within government organizations, possible non-existent government agencies as well. Yeah, confirmation. So 2 and 3, so 2 and 1, 21 being significant. So picking up the 20s, right? And that store Zara that came to mind, that may have significance. Zorro, Zara, these shows may be relevant. These brands may be significant as well, but some type of corruption taking place around brands and corporations is being removed. That cycle is ending, right? There's no renewal to that contract to keep you in this space of, this space of winter, this cold drought, okay? This drought of the spirit, all right? All right, we're gonna get some clarifying cards for these two. All right, thank you, fairy babies. I like y'all. All right, let's see. So the karma cards, let's get these going and let's see what's going on with them. What would you like us to know? So So I'll pull the first planet. Yeah, Venus. You're stepping into this love energy, and or love maybe right around the corner. Specifically, this loving of yourself, right? Releasing heavy burdens that don't belong to you. I'm picking up narcissistic abuse and narcissistic rage, and I'm also picking up so pissing contests may be significant. Some type of egoic battling is done within yourself and externally to you. And I'm picking up that you're starting to you've forgiven yourself, but this duplicity of narcissistic rage, right? Narcissistic abuse, and also the empath's revenge. So that may be a storyline or a timeline that is playing out in your life directly, or your human experience on different levels and dimensions, also collectively. Okay. Yeah, Gemini. So much communication. So a lot of communication taking place back and forth. This can be through phone. This can be through email, computer, technology. This can be through voice. This can be through nonverbal communication. This can be through thoughts alone. This can be through telepathic communication, right? Because it does seem to have a heavy psychic or energetic tone to this reading. All right. So a lot of thoughts and emotions. Not so much emotions, much more so thoughts. A lot of thoughts around this, and a lot of major arcana. So renewal, awakening, balance. These are major transitionary periods and definitive points within a human experience, right? Even the dreamer, right, as the universe. Okay. We're gonna get these clarifiers. So yeah, what you want to be known, what is believed about, right? So the beliefs around truth, right? Information to explain, communications about, resulting from fluctuations of information and explanations, right? What was believed about, okay? And using the quickest way to get things done. So I'm not picking up a rush. I'm not picking up this rushing energy. I'm picking up information reaching you however it needs to get to you for you to comprehend, understand, and embody, transmute, right? So this is a good sign. Yeah, definitely onto it. But getting through these convoluted situations and really being able to discern through the complexities and layers and convoluted information that was possibly being broadcast to you in an attempt to mask what was really going on, right? And this is happening on a global scale as well. Okay. Yeah, this has been coming out a lot. Responsibly managing your success, right? So the spirits have granted you, or the divine, the universe, God, whatever you would attribute to your higher power, as above so below, these things of this nature, that may be significant as well. But you've been bestowed with the responsibility, right, to have success, and you're going to take this and use this responsibly, right? Something to do with your career, your destiny, where you're going, and you know where you're going, and this is the thing. Yeah, you're standing your ground. You're confronting this energy. You're in this Mars energy. You're energized. This masculine energy that I was picking up on the right side of the body, right? Stepping into this Mars energy, taking what is yours, being given and returned what is yours. Okay, and in the relation of past, present, future, all simultaneously congealing together, conjoining. Intertwining together as we now understand it logically based on updates to empirical science and data, as well as spiritually, if you know, you know, right? In different circles, many different meanings to this. But with all of this, it looks like you're closing out a major cycle, and the renewal of that entrapment of your soul, that soul bondage, is being released. So this is beautiful energy. Yeah. And the ninth house, and we're having a lot of 9 and 10. So a pathway forward, 9-10. Okay, instead of 911 or 911, it's turning into a 910, right? A complete new beginning, an infinite potential, and infinite support, infinite abundance, and you're being divinely given this, and there is responsibility with it, because now that you are this leader and you are getting this information, you can choose what to do with it. There's no do or don't do, or be or don't be. Simply is, what are you going to manifest? What are you going to create, co-create, and bring into reality with this newfound gift of abundance, right? And this freedom that you've attributed, or that is attributed to you, being able to break through any illusion spells or any type of castration, I'm also picking up, or mutilation to your spirit. You've defeated any type of mutilation to your spirit, and now that you've done that, you are empowered to lead. Okay, so that is a plus. Okay, lead with love, we lead with yourself, inspire, heal, wherever the modality of your gift would be best attributed for you, right? You can be a herbalist and you want to work with herbs, and depending on what specific legal circumstances are what the legal circumstances are within your area or region of the world, you may participate in working with those herbs. If you are a great communicator, you may look into communicating effectively and sharing these communications. You may start a podcast. You may start some type of tool or platform that gives space for language and conversation, right? So see what attributes best to you. So something significant about your ninth house as well. You may have Jupiter in your ninth house. Yeah, we're getting this love and Venus and Venus love energy, right? This divine feminine energy, this masculine energy, and that's a big point as well. This balancing. So this balancing of the masculine and feminine energies, this Mars and Venus energy within yourself, externally, within a relationship, within society, globally, all the ways we can apply Venus and Mars to the human experience of love and masculine energy, feminine energy and masculine energy. We're seeing that this balance is bringing destiny. Okay, destiny, success, fulfillment, and responsibility to maintain and possibly teach. Wow. Okay, beautiful. All right, also kicking addictions and bad habits, and working on habits that may be beneficial for you. If you know, you know. Coming from the shamanistic perspectives of reality and consciousness, smoke is a connection to the ancestors and an honoring as well. Yeah, look, you're absolutely right about something. You're on the money with something. We have Sun, Mars, and Mars may be a bit of a volatile energy. However, it is necessary when needing to be applied. When you need to have that energy of a shadow, you need to embrace your shadow to stand your point, stand your ground, be affirmed, immovable in certain sense. And logics, yeah, you want to have that energy. But what I'm picking up from this Sun energy, look at that. So I'm picking up the raw energy. Okay, also the Ram, because we have the first house, so an Aries may be significant. Okay, so something about the way that you see yourself, the way you project yourself, that you're doing it on your own. Man, these are strong. Oh, and Aries is in my hand, literally. Wow. So I'm picking up Aries as well. Okay, so you may have the first, something about your first house, your placements, your rising signs. Okay. Ooh. All right, further confirmation. Yeah, look at this. Your North Node. You stepped. So whatever in the recent past was trying to block you with all this backwards energy, this Princess of Winter, this harsh communication, these thoughts of negativity, doom, being trapped, stealing your future dreams, right? The dreamer reverse. Oh, you can't dream. You're out of balance. Awakening. No, you're not. Right? All of those energies. Renewal. No, not allowed. All right, so you're stepping into your North Node. It's divinely destined for you to be on this path. There's no stealing, there's no destiny swapping, and even if the energies and the frequencies felt as though they have gotten away with anything, I'm picking up cursed energy, right? And so something that's going on in the artistic circles, as I'm an artist as well, is that any works that have been stolen or attempted to be utilized against that artist or the creator's will have been cursed, right? So it's almost as though the same portal that has opened up through CERN that I'm picking up, also a computer may be significant. So I'm picking up hacking, I'm picking up technology abuse. Any of that was going on has been captured, and the footprint, the digital footprint is there, the energetic footprint is there, right? Even if we're not talking about physical things and energetic senses, right? If we're not referring to a physical instance of theft, right? And this can be applicable either way. But if we're not talking about a physical instance of theft or work or conceptual protection or thought and idea protection, there's a specific term that's escaping me right now. But if we're not talking about one of those literal experiences of that, we're also talking about energetic or algorithmic theft, right? There's been curses placed on that energy, and within specific circles in artistry, and creation, you're seeing more and more populating reality and existence these type of fall downs, right, from anything that was profited from the stealing of energy, the stealing of vitality, the stealing of that life force, that sun energy, any of that creation, right, coming from the solar plexus as well. So it's right. So it seems, fuck around and find out what's the energy. And it looks like a lot of individuals are unfortunately finding out. Okay, and we have this Sagittarius energy. So currently you're in this Sagittarius energy. You may have that sign or strong placement in any of the houses that I mentioned, the 10th house, the first house as well. They may be significant. You may have that in one of your planets, your Jupiter in Sagittarius, your North Node in Sagittarius, right? And or this energy may be coming forward to you as well. I'm picking up, but that's the current energy. Okay, so Mars in North Node. Okay, so you may have your Mars in Sagittarius. What else? Okay. Emotions, so Cancer. I'm also picking up 6-9, so really balancing this perspective, and Pisces. So some type of emotional energy, so some resurrecting energy when I'm getting the imagery of Jesus and right, it does. Yes, in that specific context, Jesus being resurrected at one point, and this is so resurrecting some spiritual. So you've ultimately experienced resurrection of good fortune, blessings, and the granting of from the divine. Man, I don't know if you hear those police sirens in the background, but they're not coming here. Okay, so as I mentioned, 6-9 with the sun. Wow, and Cancer. All right. All right, that was just a lot of good energy. The spirit can be a very funny energy to work with, okay? I'm also picking up the elements earth, air, wind, earth, air, fire, water, and ether or aether, right? And that is a spirit and the energy that is a prana all around us. But I did mention 6-9. We have 9-6. So the 9th and the 6th house, very significant. Okay. And it's fully coming into focus, full circle. 9-6, right? 6-9, right? And this balancing between transmuting that energy, right? A 6 is a 6, a 9 is a 9. However, depending on the perspective and the way that we are framing that understanding of numbers, and as far as numerology, as digits, as far as digits of money, right? Currency, as far as counting, right? Whatever logical attribute you're putting into the sense of that vibration of number and energy, right? 6 being balance, 9 being completion. There's some type of computed and completed unison that is taking place, and this is being brought about with this Cancer symbolism. Similarly, if you look at the crabs, I'm seeing the 6 and 9 as one claw can be a 6. Let's see, this one is, and then that one can represent a 9, right? But really, yeah, you're being protected. Okay. So the sun is protecting you, Ra is protecting you, God is protecting you, right? From any type of negative attachments, okay? As a full-time job, and as if it came. So you're being so divinely protected in this journey, this mission, this soul destiny of your North Node. It's not even funny. That got very serious. This is war. The sun will go to war with you, for you. It is in you. Okay, you have this will. So we have the 10th and the 9th house. Okay, 10 is significant as well. Let me just look at all the cards together. So, and digressing to keep everybody up to speed. All right, remember, depending on where you are in your spiritual awakening, this information may resonate, some of it may not. Okay. Ooh, top 10. So you may be in the top 10 wanted. So, or there's energies now that are in the top 10 most wanted list. Confirmation from my beautiful friend Anubis, the neighbor, always alerting us. What's going on, Anubis? Okay. All right, so you may have to move in silence with certain things. That's what I'm picking up. And in the recent past with this North Node energy, okay, this destiny swapping, this renewal that is for you, this awakening that has taken place, this balance that you found to dream your dream, to be the liver of your dream and the creator of your dream. It looks like all of that energy is being brought back and has been called out by, let's say, Anubis. So I'm picking up Egyptian energy as well. If you're unfamiliar with the reference of the dog barking and me referencing that to Anubis, this is a form of communication that is seen within some spiritual circles where dogs would represent the Anubian energy, right? And this is the depending on the spiritual circles that you are within, this can be a representation of the East as well. So something about the East, something maybe going on in the East, something east of you, okay, geographically, no matter where you are on the planet, east side of town, eastern part of the world, right? All right, but either way, something east of you. And this may be happening now because it feels very pertinent now with the energy being brought about. So you may also have a sun in Cancer, and this may be happening to a sun Cancer sign that was in a negative or a lower frequency or vibratory state. Okay. I do appreciate my Cancers. We match very, very well as a species. And Cancers have been known to be the #1 serial killers, I believe. You can do some research on that if you're not in a high vibration. Just saying. So some type of water sign taking a hit and things being illuminated, right? Because the sun also does illuminate. So some type of hidden emotions that were being protected within some type of shell, some type of organization possibly, are being illuminated. Yeah. Yeah, so, and even the way that I place these cards down. So I placed all of these heavy cards from the Fairy Tarot deck on top of the North Node, right? And it looks like these blockages that can be very symbolic, right, and metaphorical to say that the energies were attempting to block all of that with this false information and lay it down onto your North Node, put you to rest, right? And unfortunately, things have, for some, and fortunately for us in the tribe, things have aligned and balanced out. This North Node energy has come into view, and you have a clear perception of what is taking place. All right, trust yourself. That was one of the key things coming up with this 8 of Summer, where you possibly doubting that you have what it takes, right? Feeling alone in this journey. But as you see on this block of ice within the card, the individual in that card, this Victorian energy, right? This princess energy has her own block of ice to stand on, and similarly is floated by the ethereal, the water, right? The fluid of life. Okay, let's get specifics as well. So there will be insights to understand spiritually, spiritual values, and also being of service to others. So there will be insights to understand spiritual values. There will be insights to understand service to others, okay? Mentally, success from the wisdom of long-range thinking or traveling, and what is good for us, right? So you taking action steps practically and traveling through thoughts, dimensions, value systems, through wisdom and knowledge and information that is now being publicly made available for you, okay? This is beautiful. And physically and practically benefit resulting from the understanding of what is to be shared, your work. Share your work. That's the direct message. Spirit is letting you know, get out there, share your work, put yourself out there, make yourself known, put yourself in a place of a position of power, right? See yourself this way and allow it to be felt inherently through you, okay? This doesn't mean to go on a performance, unless performing is what you would like to do, right? Fine, you are your best guide and judge. But the point is this authentic entrance into your work, your passions, and sharing spiritual knowledge. Okay, so you may be guided to step into a spiritual field. If not a spiritual field specifically, whichever avenue of society that you see benefit for, you've got the message. It's clear that Spirit has spoken to you and given you some direct communication for you to understand, okay? Because vision keeps coming up. So that may be something specific to you, and your work is to hold that vision and stay true to that vision and stay authentic to it, and really give it space to breathe. Space to breathe, be. So the name Bee, BEE, Bumblebee as well. So building some type of community around your vision, okay? Even if this is not external to you or other individuals specifically or other groups, which it can be, even if it's in personally to you, those self-thoughts that you take, the daily practices and action steps that you take towards this experience. Every day you tell yourself you love yourself. Every day you're using affirmations. Every day you're doing something to heal those subconscious wounds or the perceived wounds that were being projected onto you. Every day that you take an action step to complete this process is another day that you're honoring that vision and that truth, and the path will become more clear for you. Okay. All right, and something could be taking place in this upcoming winter. Okay, something could have taken place definitively as well in August with that 8-8 portal. Okay, and we have 8-8-8. So you may have been seeing symbolism of 8-8-8. Okay, abundance. You get into that abundance frequency. Okay. Okay, specific action steps that are being guided and suggested. So have faith in your highest ideals. Okay. Have faith in your highest ideals as a full-time job, right? Stepping into and away from, and let's digress to the very beginning of the reading where I did mention a lot of the collective moving from the 9-to-5 mentality, the 9-to-5 focus, to beginning their own organizations, beginning their own works, beginning their own entrepreneurial journeys, right? So that's a big confirmation if you needed it, all right? And also, mentally, do not worry about the rules of serving. Do not worry about the rules of the philosophy of the philosophies and laws involved. Right. So breaking the rules, essentially, legally, I'm not suggesting you break any rules in your region. That is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is a new change to the rules, new rules and laws being created because of you in a healthy, beneficial way to what serves others, right? How you serve others is going to be up to you. Let's put this into context. Sacred sexuality. The projections around sacred sexuality can be very misconstrued, right? Sex work is one of the oldest professions in life. A lot of people have their own perspectives and their own hangups around that. But also, while entering sex work, there are specific groups and organizations that can be using that energy for nefarious reasons and then entrap you into negative things as well. So being discerning around what you're doing. So stepping away from simply having pleasure and understanding from a higher frequency and a higher consciousness, pleasure is allowing flow, and being able to teach that in an ethical way, that may be very beneficial so that kids are not, or younger individuals or naive individuals that are even adults are not unaware of the different types of energetic exchanges and transactions that can be taking place and how they may be taken advantage of. One context of stepping into your true work and not being worried about the rules or what is perceived to be the ideal for helping others, right? You being authentic is what's going to help others in the nutshell. All right. Another context, right? Stepping away from the practice. So let's say you're in the Western world, stepping away from looking at Western medicine as an end all be all and starting to introduce holistic medicine, right? Circling back to where I mentioned these herbs or understanding herbalists and holistic healing. I'm picking up Dr. Sebi. You may want to look into and research these holistic medicines that have been proven to, and I use quotes unquotes because and of for clarity and legalities, using and tapping into those knowledge bases to understand that, hey, if I eat this can heal this malignant illness, or this can heal this dis-ease, unease within the body and the spirit and the soul, right? Okay. So different modalities for healing. Those were two examples. Let's say sacred energy exchange work ethically, and also herbalism as far as an alternative medicine and methodology to the standard Western understanding. Both are good, both bring balance, both have aspects that are good and bad, but finding the balance of your authentic nature, your authentic truth, right? The message was, do not worry about the rules of serving, the rules of the philosophies and laws involved. You're bringing the new philosophy, you're bringing the new law, right? And this is especially important for visionaries, because even in the spiritual communities and circles, we can see that specific rules, laws, universal understandings, while simultaneously true, there is more. And depending on your spiritual authority, your rank, different, not to say better or less than, but every individual gets their own access to different information, right? And I'm also picking up the Akashic records, and in other terms, the Intergalactic Council. I'm also getting the interconnected consciousness of all peoples on the planet, okay? Something significant about that as well. And then finally, in the physical, now is the time to get it out to the world and do it in a big way. Bam! Big way for me, right? This has been a 6-year journey. That's giving an example. So something they have been stewing or you've been working on or developing and building, and you know that's what you want to do, and you just haven't done it or found ways to really get it articulated in the way that you would like. Now is the time. You're being supported by the universe, right? And what I would say is, outside of time, you've given yourself space for this. You've reached here yourself. So give yourself a pat on the back, right? Something about this, okay, something significant about the word pat, maybe a name, maybe a place, P-A-T, P-A, Pittsburgh, right? Depending on where you are in the world, Panama as well, I'm picking up. The connections are endless, right? That's a definitive message. The connections are endless, all right? Okay, for now, let's get... I'm going to go ahead and use the Enochian dictionary. Okay. So some type of completion. The angels are saying you have completed something. Okay. Angels, demons, however you would like to interpret them, as energy is energy. Energy, frequency, and vibration are all that exist in this reality, despite what we have been led to believe. But, and more. So something about yourself being holy. So picture yourself as holy, the light. Okay. And also a demonic name. Okay, so this balance of holy, light, demonically, okay? So commanding and having dominion over some type of demonic energy, that's what you've been blessed with, especially in the mechanical arts, okay? Okay, Rokan may be significant as well. And have mercy, okay? No place for mercy. No place for mercy. So going after these goals, like your life depended on it, okay? All right. That's going to be the final message, tribe. So mote it be, all right? And remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. To click the link above in the bio. Check out the shorts. If you're not on YouTube, go to YouTube, check out the shorts, check out the previous videos below on YouTube, and check out the ebook, The Perception Project, okay? It took a lot of energy to create that, and looking forward to seeing it be shared with individuals and them gather some healing from this, okay? All right. Thank you so much for being here. Right? Very performative. But anyway, see you next time, tribe.